What in the world is incremental incapacitation? When I look at most trust documents, they involve what I call a nuclear option, where all of a sudden you go from all of the choices, a menu of opportunity, to a nothing. You have no choices. You have no decision-making authority at all. And that's what happens in most trusts. In fact, that's what the legal world expects to happen. It's either clear, you're in charge or you're not. But that's just not how life works. See, when we live longer, we deal with the reality of cognitive impairment. And that is our ability to take in new information and make decisions that we would have once made today in future years simply diminishes over time. It would be naive for me or arrogant of myself to say that this won't impact me. I'm sure it will, but I have created defenses to try to deal with it. One of them is by trademarking a process that we call incremental incapacitation. I've been in the financial industry for over 35 years. I've yet to see one of our families take a parent to court to have them declared incompetent by a judge. I'm sure it happens. It just doesn't tend to happen with the families that we work with. In 35 years, I've seen a few, less than 10, doctors sign saying that somebody is mentally incapacitated. And it's usually because they're in an Alzheimer's unit or they've been in a car wreck or had a stroke. It's very, very clear. But rarely do kids take their parents to the doctor to have them declared incompetent or incapacitated by a medical doctor. And they don't do it because it is a nuclear option where everything happens at once. So I want to take you back in time to your childhood. It's perhaps the easiest way to understand what incremental incapacitation is. When you were a kid, you may remember when you were first allowed to go outside alone, you weren't allowed to leave the yard. And then as you got a little bit older, not the block. And then as it got a little bit older, not the neighborhood. As you aged, you were given more and more choices that you could make so you could learn how to make good decisions. Eventually, you got to an age of majority, we call it legally, right? You got to an age where you could make all the decisions. At 18, you can make as many decisions as I can at 56. When we look at trusts, when we look at legal documents that have that nuclear option, where you go from being able to play in any neighborhood you want, travel anywhere you want to go, make any investment you want, give to any charity you see fit, change beneficiaries at will, you go from that one day to having no decision-making authority at all the next. That doesn't make sense to me. It seems to me to be an outdated thought process. See, when Yogi Bear comes in, he doesn't just steal your picnic basket one day. He takes little bites of your sandwich, little by little, gradually. Generally, people will say, well, hey, my spouse will notify me if I was starting to become mentally impaired. Truth be told, we tend to slip together. We've had the same lifestyle, the same eating habits for the most part. We've lived in the same places. A lot of it's genetic, but we tend to slip together in that process. Sometimes the spouse is the last to recognize or even notice when somebody has cognitive impairment because it's minor at first and it gradually begins to build. Recognizing that is the problem, we trademarked a process, the Financial Enhancement Group, called Incremental Incapacitation, that uses various things inside of your trust to allow your successor trustees to remove responsibilities gradually based on indications of your impairment. Hopefully there's none. At stage 1, nothing changes. At stage 2, what I've found is most financial decisions revolve around giving, spending, and investing. Do I give to my kids? Do I give to my church? Who do I give to? Who do I remove? How much do I spend? What service product have I bought this week? Or what warranty did I get? The things that just drive me insane sometimes. And investing. Is it a good idea for me to buy this annuity or not? right? Decisions like that have to be made. And so as my cognitive impairment may, I don't want to call it improve, but increase, all of a sudden I have to do different things. I have to consult my trust protector before I remove somebody from a beneficiary just because they didn't show up at Thanksgiving and my feelings were hurt. And you may say, Joe, come on, I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen. A lot of what we're talking about at Financial Enhancement Group Trust Services is based on what I have witnessed for 35 years, looking at 300 different documents, taking care of more than 2,000 families, finding pitfalls and problems inside of their documents. Now, the good news of that is I've also found some very creative things that work real well. But we take all of that collectively and put it into your plan, your unique strategy, your document, to help you offset the problems of a nuclear implementation. We decline gradually. Let's make sure that our documents deal with that and not get unused simply because it's a nuclear option.